This is the Peter Greenwood Show, and I have a guest.
Hello.
Could you tell me your name and your show title, please?
Hello, Peter. My name is Verity Mullan, and my show is called Single Use. We are on at the Pleasance Courtyard, Bunker 3.
What is Single Use?
Single Use is a one-woman comedy. It's a story about someone trying to deal with issues going on in their life. Rather than confronting their life issues, they dive full into their recycling. They focus on the recycling as a distraction for other things going on personally, and it is a comment on how the individual can feel pressure and the cost of fighting the environmental cause on the individual, and how sometimes that there's too much pressure on the individual to find the solution when it is more of a global problem. But it is also about a character kind of coming of age. It is about a young woman trying to find her place in the world, trying to find her career, her friends, build relationships with her family. One of the key relationships is the relationship between her and her mother, who is not well, and it is a way of facing her mother's illness, and she does so through her recycling.
That's one way to get around not focusing is recycling.
Yeah.
How much of the story, where did the story come from? How much is true?
So originally, I first had the idea, I've always been interested in writing about environmental issues. I found plastic quite an interesting one, and recycling, because it's like so unsexy of all the environmental causes. Everyone does it, it's super boring, but it's quite important. But it's also quite mundane and silly. So many people recycle and have no idea what actually happens to it. So I kind of like the humour in that. I personally, one year at New Year, tried to give up plastic, and I found it virtually impossible. Within a couple of days, even by accident, you're using something that you don't realise. Plastic is absolutely everywhere. So I kind of like the idea that it is inescapable. But the show is not preachy. It's more kind of saying, what can we do? And we are actually so restricted in the effect that we can have. So it's about acknowledging that, and acknowledging that people can only really do so much.
And how did you put it all together? Like you say, it's not preachy at all, but is there a part of you that wanted to make it more detail oriented? How many much details in there of recycling is it there in it? Sorry.
Yeah. For me, I used to be really, really into trying to have as less plastic as possible in my life. And quite sadly, over time, and I've been writing the play been working on it for like 5 years. Over that time, my kind of drive and attention to detail towards living plastic free has really diminished, because it's quite exhausting and there's so much difficult stuff happening in the world. It's really easy for things like plastic and recycling just to become like so bottom of your list. So we touch on that, and we don't really, it's not driven by facts and figures. It's kind of driven by questions like, where does it all go and what effect does it actually have? I did chat to someone who came from a scientific background, and I did warn them that there was not much science in the show, so maybe they could have guided me on that after.
What made you want to write this show, and what made you want to bring it to Edinburgh?
I've performed at Edinburgh a few times before, but never my own show. And it was always a real dream to have a one-woman show at the Pleasance Theatre. So I'm so happy and grateful that I'm here with the show. As I said, I kind of think I like the story because it is recognisable. It is about growing up in the climate where we read and we have so much on social media about the climate crisis, and a lot of people feel like they don't know where to turn. I love comedy. I love character comedy. I like making people laugh, and my style of performance is quite not OTT, but it's very character driven. It's not necessarily natural. It's quite surreal by the end. It's very silly. So I just thought taking something like the climate crisis and pollution, and particularly plastic waste, which, as I said, isn't the most sexy or fun of issues, and combining it with a character comedy, someone who's trying to find their place and path in the world, was like quite a niche moment for me, and something I've really enjoyed bringing together.
So when you found the moment, you were like, yes, this is the one, this is it.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because I find the show quite hard to explain, which I think is quite a challenge at Edinburgh, because it's all about pitching your show. It's essentially a comedy about recycling. Essentially, recycling isn't funny, and that's where we find the humour.
Right.
Well, that's what I find anyway. And people have kind of said, "Oh, is there more interesting topics to write about?" Yes, probably, but I think this one's good.
Well, interesting is unique. What you're interested in, somebody else may not be interested in. Then there may be somebody more interested in it than you.
Yeah.
You may go see somebody else's show and you're like, wow, I am an amateur. I need to up my game here.
Yeah, that I did think I'd be one of the only shows at Fringe about recycling, but there is actually another show called Refuse. So yeah, I'm not the only one.
What's the audience reaction been like to it? Have people been laughing at the right bits that you wanted them to laugh at?
Yeah, we have had so far a really good audience reaction. It's the great thing about the show is there's some bits that you don't really think is going to be the funniest, and that's what people respond to. So it's nice. I think people are responding it in different ways, and ultimately the show is light-hearted. It should be positive, and it should want to inspire people to make small little changes. It is quite funny that most people come in with their drink in a plastic cup.
Yeah.
So there's always lots for me to recycle at the end of the show.
Yeah. There is a lot of refuse in Edinburgh during the month of August, because you do have the plastic cups, then you have the flyers, which I don't understand. Like, if somebody gives you something, you take it and you put it in your pocket or you hang on to it. Some people just be like, ish, and toss it. What is that?
There is.
Why, people? Why?
Yeah, there is a lot of waste at Edinburgh. I also went to a talk, a producer, and I heard them say something which I thought was so interesting, that Edinburgh creates or can create a trash pile of plays. There's so many plays here, and that we'll create a play and then we'll maybe kind of put it in a pile and never see it again. So I hope so many plays here get to be reused and recycled, and so many stories have a continuing journey.
Yeah, and that's something you don't really think about with Edinburgh, is you think, oh, it's going to keep on going, but sometimes a show doesn't go anywhere else, so it does go into a pile and somebody does something new. That's something that a lot of people don't really think about in Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, because we think of recycle and waste to be kind of physical and material waste at home, but also you could think of the waste of art, all these shows, and hopefully they're all getting the big platform. But yeah, going off on a tangent.
No, not at all. You tangent away. Have you been enjoying Edinburgh? Because you said this isn't your first time up here. How have you been enjoying it this time? Yeah, especially as it's your own show now.
Definitely. I've performed in productions before, and I felt lucky enough just to be an actor, and I come and do the show every day and flyer. This has been a different experience because I've written the show, self-produced as well. We're a small team. It's me and Emma Beth Jones. She's co-creator and director of the show. We're a small team. We've got a sound designer, Flick, who's amazing, and it is a different experience when you're out there selling the show every day. And we've also learned a lot about our audiences. We've done runs in London where we've had really different crowds to people we've had in Edinburgh. And we're getting an older audience, which is really nice. And they've been so receptive. So it's been really interesting each day to see kind of the different people that are coming into the show. The Edinburgh is incredible. We're nearing halfway now, so I feel like a lot of the work has been done, as in hopefully ticket sales are increasing a bit more and we can start seeing more shows. I've got a huge list of things I want to see.
What else do you want to see?
I want to see Body Count, which is a one-woman show at the Pleasance. I want to see Refuse, the other show about waste. And yeah, I've got a long list in my apps.
Could there be a team up between you and the Refuse team?
I think there should, definitely. I think we should join forces.
That would be great.
Clear up the streets of Edinburgh.
Yeah. Come back in next year and be like, listen, we're here to tell you things.
Yeah.
What is the future for the play and for you after Edinburgh? Are you taking it elsewhere?
Yes, we are. We would love to link up with a great producer. We wanted to do a run in London, and we'd love to take the show to other venues across the UK. So we are currently having chats and looking for a great producer to take the show to the next steps. As I said, the show has been self-produced up to this point, and I really think building out the team is the next step. And we would love to take Single Use to more audiences. I think it would do really well. We've got a great set that all fits inside a bin.
Which is
so
nice.
We're ready for the road.
Where have you thought about turning it into any other media, like a novel or a film, documentary maybe?
Yeah, I think I haven't actually thought about turning it into other things. A few people have said, would you like to be on screen? I think the story would work really well on screen. I think there's real opportunity. The character as well, the character of Ella, she is super recognisable. I think like a very comedy character, which I think would translate really well to screen. So that would be a great dream.
Where can people find out more about you on social media?
They can follow us at Single Use the Play on Instagram. We also have a company website, orangesqueezetheatre.com.
Thank you so much for your time today. It was lovely to talk to you.
Lovely to chat to you too. Thanks so much.
Single Use is playing at Bunker 3 at Pleasance Courtyard at 10 to 1 in the afternoon every day until the 25th of August. And it also got a really nice write-up in The Scotsman as well recently, so check that out. For more information, go to edfringe.com and type in Single Use. For the Peter Greenwood Show at the Edinburgh Fringe, I've been your host, Peter Greenwood. See you next time.